Okay, let me turn on my camera here. Hopefully. All right, here it is. Okay, guys, more 3 minutes and then we start. Hey, Deborah, good to see you here. How are you?
Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, together.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Yvonne, I was thinking about you last night as I was thinking about this presentation this morning. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing with your community.
I am totally excited about it. I think has just got me completely just pumped.
Yeah, let me know if you need any help. You can ask Richard. I probably broke just about everything I could possibly break and GoBrunch, and then some.
Right, 1 more minute, guys, and then we start. Yes.
Hi, Allie.
Good to see you all. Hey, Sarah, how are you? Nice to see you here.
Hi, Richard. Nice to see you here too.
Hello,
Nice
Sharon.
haircut.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Tan. It's been a while. Good to see you here. All right, guys, I think we can get started. I think everyone already knows me, but if you don't, my name is Richard Lowenthal. And as much as my last name is very similar to Marissa, right? We are not parents as long as we know. And but yeah, welcome everyone. It's been very challenging for us to build GoBrunch with your help. I know that we have been many of you have been following us for many years. I see here Dr. Nally. I think probably she's one of the first one who started using GoBrunch in the middle of the pandemic. And really appreciate all of you here today. And we have very interesting news. Um, I think in the last webinar we introduced the new customization features that we have here, which allows us to create a lot of amazing stuff, such as different virtual spaces, and connect all these spaces and create something like small metaverses. But what we want to show you today is something completely different, which is a real case study. And that's why I want to introduce you, Marissa Lowen. And she is founder and chief creative officer of Creator Rules. She has 20 years of experience working with digital marketing, graphic design, mentoring, public relations, and she worked in big corporations and as self-entrepreneurs. And yeah, Marissa, if you want to better, introduce yourself and explain a little bit how you ended up here in GoBrunch, would be really nice. Thank you very much for being here, Marissa.
Arrow. Hi,
Oh yeah.
everybody. When I'm not on mute, I am. I found GoBrunch last year. I think it was last. Yeah, I guess it was just over last year. I think around in April. I had been running. So I have two companies. One is an event company, an in-person event company, and the other is a business coaching. And I'm sure, as all you can all imagine, during the pandemic, the event company had to not really operate because here where we were in Alberta, Canada, we couldn't, there was restrictions and whatnot. So I had to kind of take a pivot in my business. And one of the things I noticed in my work with in the coaching side of things and the business side of things was that we were kind of missing something. I did a lot of one-to-one work. I had a group program at one point. I had a membership already going, but I just was like missing that connection piece. And I could see that there was an opportunity where we could work with businesses to offer an accelerator or an incubator and create a more full, I would say, experience for them as they are growing their business. And then I found GoBrunch, and it was like all of the ideas started going off in my head about what was possible in how we change the way we communicate and connect with people all over the world. I had already built quite a big audience, but it spanned Europe, Australia, Canada, US, South America. Like we have a little bit of everybody. And I thought, well, how can we start to come together and create experiences that go beyond that kind of like leave a comment in a Facebook group? And GoBrunch has allowed me to do that. We have built, I would say it is our primary platform right now for our community. It's called the Catalyst, Create the Rules Catalyst. And it has changed the way we do business, both with Create the Rules, but also the way that we work with people. And Ali is one of those members. So, if you want to, Ali can kind of talk about it I can talk about it from the organizer point of view, but, Ali, feel free to contribute from a person who's in that community. What we do is we actually have 24/7 rooms open, and we have a whole bunch of rooms, and I'll show you some of the rooms that we've created here today in a bit. But what we've done is we have co-working rooms, and then we have what we call experiential rooms. We have workshop rooms that we are kind of in here right now. I'll show you some of those. We built them from scratch. We've built some of the templates that GoBrunch. We've kept a few of them still, but we definitely have moved into our own kind of design phase. We have and the experiential rooms. Let me just explain that a little bit. So we know as business owners, as leaders, as organizers, there is not just, the workshop space where we come in here and we connect like we are right now. What we've done is we started creating rooms that people can go in and they can experience brown noise. They can go in and experience the sound of rain falling. They can go in and watch a video. They can go in so we're starting to create these really, we're building fidget rooms so people can go in and just have a quick fidget. We have sound healing. We have meditation. We have a member who is going to be hosting both live and play on demand wellness stretching classes where we can do yoga, we can do Pilates, we can do it. So what it basically, Gary, what's happening over there? There is like a massive cuddle happening right there. What is happening? Wow, I am very jealous right now. Oh, is that a cat?
Yeah.
Oh my God. See, that's what I love about this is that we get to kind of experience people in a more real-time way. We get to engage. I get to see Gary getting I'm jealous of the love that's happening over right now. My cat, I'm going to be going to finding her afterwards and being like, do you see this? This is my expectations happening here. And that's what we're finding is just this really personable way to interact and experience with each other that wasn't possible on Zoom. It wasn't possible on, like I said, a Facebook group. We're seeing these connections happen. So I'll show you some of the, what is brown noise? Sorry, Sharon. Brown noise is like it's just like a constant kind of like shh, but it's at a certain decibel that certain folks, like if they have neurodivergent, ADHD, autistic folks really can respond really well. It can calm yourself down. It can de-sensory if you've got like an overload, but it's also really great for concentration. So people go into the brown noise room to get some work done. And that noise, we use the play on demand video. We use a combination of sound and what we call Pomodoro clocks, which are a certain time that you can work. So our Pomodoro clocks are you work 25 minutes, a little clock on the on-demand video, and I'll show you that when we go in the workroom, plays down, and then at the end of that 25 minutes, a little chime happens. You get 5 minutes to go. It reminds you to go drink some water, do some stretching, engage with other people, and then you can repeat it and go into there. So yeah, yes, and exactly. We have a white noise room as well. It's just some different levels that can help you that just allow that brain to focus. So I'll show you those. Richard, do you want me to hop in and kind of give them a tour?
Yeah, I think that would be amazing. Okay. Yeah. A lot of interesting questions here.
Yeah, and by all
But yeah,
means, just you can you can use the chat, but also if you want to just unmic and say it out loud too, by all means. Like, this is a very informal. We're all friends here. We're all part of a bigger family.
exactly. And we love to improvise. I just had to add some extra circles here
Yes.
because we had more people than we expected.
That's one of my favorite things actually about GoBrunch. It's like, oh, need an extra seat. I'll show you one of the rooms where we had an extra seat was requested in our community. So this is our kind of our launch page. When people come into the Catalyst, it shows the different kinds of rooms that we have. So we have work rooms, we have workshop rooms, we have collabs and one-to-one, and we have experiential. So one of the cool things that has happened as part of our community is we have these large work rooms where people come in and they get to, basically we say as you get as much one-to-one and community-led support as you need to meet your goals, grow your business, scale, do all the things you do. So we have work rooms with moderated co-working times where you can go in and basically pop in and ask me anytime you want, or any of the experts that we're adding into the community. We're going to have some themed rooms coming up in 2023 that are specific to business. So like search engine optimization, email automation, those kind of things. We're going to have workshop rooms in there, but people can come in anytime. But what happens is we've had people form relationships as a part of being in these co-working rooms. And now we have these little cohorts that are being created and they go off. So we have the collabs and one-to-one rooms where people just go and they're like, can I meet you in such and such a room? And off they go to experience that. So we keep adding people in there. I'll just go into our work rooms. Here, this is actually just to show you, this is just kind of like a welcome video. So I'll go in here and we'll see how quickly. My Wi-Fi is a little slow today. It hasn't woke up yet. I did not give coffee to my Wi-Fi yet. So it's a little slow, so bear with me. So I've just used a Loom video. Oh, Richard's in here already. We just have a Loom video in here that plays and it kind of walks people through the Catalyst, kind of the rooms, how they can experience it. And then of course we have arrows that go back always to our main room. I'm just gonna go really quickly into one of our main co-working rooms here. So this is, if you've been using GoBrunch for a while, you might recognize this is one of GoBrunch's like original templates. It's what we started with when we redesigned our co-working rooms recently. People missed this one, so we brought it back. For the most part, we want to encourage people to come back to the Catalyst home, but there's a few, like I said, rooms where, hi, Biba. Oh, I'll just say, hi, Biba. There's a few rooms that people use the most. And so I just created some arrows really quickly in here to get people in because they do use this. We have a direct link with here. So people come in here all the time. We've got a few more rooms happening in here on the co-working side. And of course, we love that we can see who's working in here. We'll be adding more co-working rooms as we grow, as we get more members, just so that we can have room for everybody in there. So again, this is kind of one of the main rooms we meet in. People come in here, we do co-working, we do live workshopping, we do, people are just like, can I ask you a question? And I think this room holds like 17 seats, if I remember correctly. So we get about we can get up to 16 in here every once in a while. You'll see the whole table is full. But for the most part, I would say we have about 8 people consistently on our moderated co-working days, which are days that we schedule and specifically say like, I'm in the room. So we'll go in and then, we've really customized some of these rooms. And the great features about GoBrunch allow us to really develop different kinds of experiences. So this is a room we've created. We put our own furniture in here. We call it the rain room, purple rain. Some people like to call it Dracula's castle. I've heard all sorts of things. So it's kind of a nice room that every once in a while we meet. Now I will share with you an experience. We've been at this big table for so long. When we moved into this room, there were some people who were very concerned about which table they should sit at. And if you come in the room, you might have 2 or 3 people at one table and 2 or 3 people at another table. And it's like, oh no, which table should I sit at? Which I thought was a very interesting experience. And it definitely speaks to people's, experience in outside life. And so it was an interesting design feature that we will be considering in the development of our other rooms. We also have, the group requested a silent co-working room. So there is no speaking ever. So people come in here. The great thing about GoBrunch now is that we can actually start the room with no mics on, so we don't have that accidental noise coming in and jarring people. This is just a room that I created out of Midjourney. If you know what the Midjourney AI is, we still have the Pomodoro clock. As you can see, it plays. I do have to change this. It says open chat. Oops, I just noticed that we've used the same video over. I got to change that. But I'll show you, like it basically has a timer down and people can loop this, and then they get this little chime that just lets them know that their Pomodoro is over. Some of the rooms we have are, like I said, they're experiential. We have a coffee chat. People requested having a room with the coffee noise playing, so I can show you that one if you're interested. But yeah, basically we just have these rooms that are just very different experiences, different looks and feels, because we know different people need different things. I'll show you the coffee chat with the sound.
And by the way, this is one of my favorite.
This is like a very popular room. Yeah. So once you sit in here, it was really funny when I first created this room. There's like some people came and said, we need to change the sound in the coffee chat room. And I was like, why? There was a lady at one point in that sound, and she's like, baguette, baguette, but it's like really loud and jarring. And so people are like working with the lovely coffee room sound, and all of a sudden somebody's yelling for a baguette. And it was just like, they're like, all of a sudden I was jarred out. So I was like, okay, we'll change the and so I love this kind of feedback as we build these rooms. I think it's really an incredible way to do a community-led development. So it's not just me thinking this room is cool. Like, it's definitely getting that feedback and hearing from different people.
Yes, they are persistent.
Yeah, they're open 24/7. We don't shut these. The only time we might shut, I do have a public facing room that I use for public workshops, and I lock that so that people don't necessarily come in during another time. And because I have files that I have loaded in there, pre files that I've loaded in for the presentation, so I lock that one. But otherwise, all of these are open. Yeah. And people use them. I mean, like I said, we have people around the world. So we have like Europe. I often come in first thing in the morning, and there's already 3 or 4 people in because of different time zones, and they're co-working on their own. They don't need me in there. I just, come in either on the moderated co-working days, or when I need some work done. And otherwise, people are using these rooms now. Now, I will tell you, it does take time. One of the things I said to Richard is that sometimes you have to be okay with an empty room and to be consistent and to schedule things. So we schedule the moderated co-working, we schedule marketing sprints, this is the brown noise room. It's very relaxed.
This is really amazing. Yeah. 2 questions here, Marissa.
Yeah.
And I think they are more conceptual.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the first one, Gary was asking here, if there's no one talking, he said, I'm failing to see why someone would join, aside from just not feeling alone. And I can say that I have been attending some of the rooms recently, and I'm really enjoying, but I think you can better answer this question.
Yeah, so there is a phenomenon that actually happens called body doubling, and it's definitely something that folks who have ADHD have been using for a while, and now it's becoming more popular as people realize that the way that they work and the way that they are experiencing things around them are changing. And so body doubling can happen both virtually and in person. And it's just the act of being around someone doing something else gets you to do it. So if you find that you are having executive dysfunction, or you just are not sure where to start, the act of coming into that room and being around other people has been prompting. To be honest, I have ADHD and I'm autistic. It's a good old double whammy of random things that happen in my brain. Just sitting in that room, sitting myself in that seat gives me a bit of focus. It gives me that, okay, I've got to get this done. The Pomodoro clock, of course, also helps me. If I drift off into social media land, all of a sudden you hear the chime coming back in the room, and so it brings me back into my focus. But we're talking I mean, I want to say, like, the quiet room is for quiet focus, and people do use it, but I would say that the out loud talking is definitely an incredible opportunity. And it's been great for us because instead of me doing one-to-one coaching with somebody on a particular topic and only they experience it, we do it now in the open rooms, and so everybody gets a chance to learn from that moment. It's like a group coaching, but we never know quite what topic we're going to talk about, which is also great because some people might be on one track in their business, and then they hear this other idea that somebody has brought in, and they might not be actioning it right now, but they can store it in their notes section to follow up. You know, that whole adage, like, we don't know what we don't know. And so that's been really incredible for people as they grow and scale their business, is being able to hear the different opportunities or tactics that other people have been doing.
Yeah, and not to mention that, at least the experience that I had attending your meeting room, your work rooms, and some different rooms that I'm trying right now, is that, many times you feel like, the content that we have over there is valuable, and you feel part of a community. And I think this is very important right now. Everything that we see on the internet is asynchronous, right? And what we are creating here, what Marissa created here, is something live. You really see people, you ask questions at any time, you get help, and people support each other. And look at this. This is a very interesting example. And, she created this amazing fitness center.
Yeah, this is our workout room. So a few things are happening. We have a member that is going to be creating more stretches. So we do have a play on demand. It's just a simple neck stretch in here. And then so you can come in at any time and be able to do that as to sit at the desk. But also we've left space in here so that if an instructor wants to come in here and do a class, they can just share, of course, their cam and do, have it big on the screen, and people can follow along. And then, of course, other people can also share. And so the instructor can see what's happening and adjust and, kind of gives that suggestion. So it becomes more of a real-time interaction. So there's a lot of opportunity there. I'll talk about the payment stuff.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of questions here, Marissa. I'm trying to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think one of the questions, of course, is how does your business model work?
Yep.
And how did you come with it?
Yeah. So originally we started, all good memberships as a monthly, but we realized that what can happen is, like, when you come into a business, or when you come into the rooms, you could get an incredible amount of value in a couple sessions. And then if you don't come, like, people don't necessarily come in every day. They don't come in every month even. They're actually coming in as their business or as they need it. And I think it's a different way of thinking about a year of growth. So 12 months of growth. So we actually just charge an annual. We do have a monthly and quarterly for the end of this year as a 1-year anniversary nod to what we had last year. But we will be shutting that down again in January, as we did last year. And we will only have annual payments. And it's a very different experience then, because there isn't this requirement. What we find with monthly is that people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't use the co-working rooms this month, it's not worth it, I'm going to cancel it. And again, they could have come in for 1 week and have used the value of their entire year's annual payment. And so we look at it as this is a growth and scaling. It's when you need it in your business. There's ebbs and flows of support that you need and nourishment. Sometimes you're going out and you're just on the ground running and building and creating things. And then sometimes you're coming back in and you're doing the planning and co-working and that kind of stuff. So we do it as an annual. And we do not do pay on demand. And so we do not have any kind of thing where you can come in and get like a 7-day trial. You can't, it is a bit of a leap of faith. we do have people who, we have a landing page where you can just buy. We haven't opened it up to a application form yet. We might in the future. It just depends. We haven't had anybody in yet that we wouldn't want to co-work with, let's just say. But that's a whole talk that we can have another time about kind of knowing who should be in your community and who shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, Ali said, like, you know, everybody who pays the annual, a lot of times they'll say, oh my gosh, I already have my annual. I've already paid for my annual, or I've already seen results for my annual within the first month when they come in and use it. And so that's how we do it. But we don't have any pay on demand. We don't have any, it's not like a gym. You can't, like, we're not doing that model. Did I miss any other questions?
Yeah.
Cost. Yeah, so we charge $2,500 a year US. And so that includes both the GoBrunch workrooms. We do have thanks, Richard. We do have a private community as well that we host on Heartbeat, but it isn't like a real time, like the workrooms are definitely come in and get support now. The Heartbeat we're looking at is generating more like, how do we do business better? Like, how do we create better business in the world? And we share things like the great tools. You know, it's a great repository. We also have some courses. I also do have a course library. I have a foundational way to build a business called the Profit Plan. We do that live within GoBrunch. Actually, we have one on Friday. We're right now, we're in the marketing plan stage for 2023 as a part of the Profit Plan. So we come in, we do live workshops in GoBrunch, but then there's also components in Heartbeat as well. And there's anytime access to those courses. What we'd like to do is build into GoBrunch the Profit Plan rooms. So you literally can come in and do kind of like Yvonne, actually, what we were talking about, the stages is like where you could come in and do stage 1 in one room, stage 2 in another room, and move through the profit plan in an interactive space in GoBrunch. So that's on our radar for next year, is letting people kind of go through a progression of rooms and experience both workshops or like a video on demand, as well as using the embed feature to create multiple experiences in there. The other thing that we're creating next year, I'll answer that in a second, Sharon, is we're actually doing an external GoBrunch rooms. And so it's going to be Create the Rules Village. And that is going to be something how we start to market, because this can be really hard to explain to people, the value and experience, until they get in here and feel it and have it. So the external Create the Rules Village will have things like, we have a radio station, we have a theater. The radio station will play podcast episodes that we do with our members. The theater, we're doing some video interviews with our members so people can go in and watch it. We have a store. We have a bookstore, we have a general store, because we have different kind of makers, creators, authors. We have a whole bunch of different kind of businesses included in there. So that's going to be external on our Create the Rules website, where people can come in and buy directly using GoBrunch and see a selection of our members. The other thing that we are launching in January is an event. So every month we have a large speaker series and featuring our members of our Catalyst, and we're selling tickets to that, and we're using GoBrunch as a platform. And we're really excited to do that because we can create this whole kind of live feel where people come into a lobby. There's people there who can answer questions or help find them where they are. There's going to be workshop rooms. I'll show you one of our workshop rooms. And then we're also going to have rooms that feature our speakers, their businesses, so they can go in and do office hours, or they can host demonstrations while the event is happening, and they can also sell. Everything that we do, we try to see how we can help our members just make more money. I mean, that's what we're in business for. Let me answer some other questions here, and I'll go into the other one. Who is my target market? Oh, how many rooms do I have? Oh no, how many rooms do I have? I'm going to have oh no, I am addicted to making rooms. I think attached to this now, we probably have about, I don't know, maybe 30 that I won't stop. I love it. I love creating new experiences. And as we grow, we'll add in more workshops. I almost have like room shame of how many rooms I have, but I'm addicted. I love it. And I'm always taking in different feedback from people. So yeah, that's going to probably keep growing. Yeah, I love GoBrunch so much. Okay. There's another question here. Wow, so much going on. Yes, we have so much going on. Who's my target market? So do you get any resistance from people to switch from using Zoom since it's popular and well known? Yeah, it's interesting. So my target audience is impact-driven businesses. So we are specifically looking for businesses who are creating impact. They're legacy makers, they're culture creators. We're looking for something a little bit where there's a tangible, something that we can feel and get behind. And what we do is we're looking at businesses not necessarily in the beginner stage. However, what we have found is the amazing act of mindful exclusion. So we're actually creating a new to business cohort. We'll be marketing to people with who have not launched their business, or they have just started their business on the side. They're probably still working another job. We're going to be helping them set up their business so that everything is taken care of. We just find that people get to about year 2 or 3 and all of a sudden their operations are cracking because they've just been kind of going. So we'll be marketing. We'll have their own rooms. They'll have their own moderated co-working times. They'll have their own live classes. And so we're doing that. That'll be a whole nother section. We have a writers section coming on. And so that will be led by another person, but it is basically a writer's rooms. We actually have writer's rooms right now. We've been running a write a book in 90 days challenge, and we have rooms that are specifically for the writers. So they come in and learn that kind of stuff. Do you direct people to the rooms? Yeah, so we have some suggestions, but everybody, yeah, Ali says we get to choose the rooms they want to work in. It's a choose your own adventure. And part of that is because, like, we do again have the moderated co-working rooms, and you can tell people will come to the room wherever we're in. I switch around what room I'm going to be in just so that I can get people used to going to the different rooms. Do you have to join in January? No, you can join anytime. You have 12 months. You have 12 months to enjoy whatever time is a renewal. We don't do it. The cohorts, the new business cohorts, we are limiting because there's an 8-week kind of a group that will go through and you get things checked off in your business. But otherwise, they still have a whole year after those 8 weeks to come in and experience the moderated co-working rooms, to getting help, to building their business. And then, at the end of the year, we're going to invite them into the main space, and then they can enjoy the rest of the rooms per se. Yeah, the flexibility. And the nice thing about GoBrunch is that I can build as many rooms as I want. So we build off these different cohorts. Again, that mindful exclusion. We don't want people who are brand new in business coming into the main co-working room because they're going to hear about, a complicated automated email funnel, and they're going to get overwhelmed, right? And then they're going to get frustrated and they're not going to come back to that co-working room. We want to create those experiences and really hone in for the people who need it. Writers need a different set of rooms and different experiences and different classes and different kind of quiet versus there's different needs. So knowing what your group needs is really essential. I have the top level of GoBrunch. I'm a person who hates restrictions. I hate running into something where it's like, you don't have this level. So I'm just like all in all the time. And that's my accountant has concerns about that, but I do not. Right, Ali? Right? Ali's a bookkeeper. So she knows she's laughing because we always go, Ali, is this bookkeeper approved? And she says yay or nay. But in this case, Ali was getting the top. This is it, right? Because you get to experience. So this is one of our so again, this is also when we think about these rooms, what you think about for purpose. This room is what we do our profit plan. The reason why I kept a big space up at the top as opposed to necessarily seeing people is because it is largely instructional. So there is a presentation that gets put up in here. We preload our files. You can see in our files, we preload the workbooks that we need in there. And it's for people to have a visual of it. We can move the chat around. So there's some intentional design that we've been doing in here. And of course, I got the cute little lectern in there on the side. But there is part of it is thinking about what these rooms are for and go. And that's great because after we have the conversation part, I can slide down. This room actually goes forever. It's got a lot of seats in here. This is going to be a big auditorium feel. So part of it too is just thinking about what you want to do in your community. What needs do your community have? How do they want to communicate? How do they want to interact with each other? If Richard asks me, I'll start to design some rooms if you like, but I love it. I'm addicted to it. I love 3D furniture sites. You'll just, if you have the top level of GoBrunch, next thing you know, you're going to be like, you're shopping like it's, you no longer need to go to like IKEA. Now it's 3D furniture shopping sites. That becomes your new obsession. I'll tell you that.
Yep. And there's, I think, one more important aspect if you want to switch from a different platform to GoBrunch, which is, I think, the,
Oh, yeah.
let's say, the enthusiasm that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in addition, I remember, for example, I think I see here Deborah, and I think I saw here Marlita. And what they did, and what Marissa does, is welcome people in a different environment. Not only, going directly to the point, but say, "Hey guys, welcome to this environment. Isn't this amazing?" And this, of course, makes everything easier, because people understand that you are trying something different. You are trying to innovate, and it's not something that, okay, I'm just switching my platform to something
Yeah.
new. What do you guys think about it, right? And instead of it, you just explain why you're switching. What are the reasons?
Yeah, and for us, I mean, we do have some people that join and then we don't see them in the workroom, and we're like, and they're like, I just don't know what to do, or I don't know where to go. We have orientation calls that people can book, or we reach out. The other thing is like the fear, like the FOMO, the fear of missing out, is very real. So we definitely, yeah, Ali, I'm sure has seen that, where I post something, I post on social media. We're sending out in the new year. We actually have what you what you missed in the workroom, and that'll be out to our members. And so there's snippets of conversations that we had. I know Allie's going to hate it, but we can always take those over into Heartbeat, or we can have them again. And that's what's happened. We've shared things on social media, we've sent out emails, and people have said, hey, I saw that you were talking about blah, blah, blah. Can we talk about it again? It's like, yeah. And then, what I don't know if you saw Allie, but like last week I said, we're talking about TubeBuddy right now, and I put that in Heartbeat, and everybody gets an alert. So I was like, we're talking about TubeBuddy. If you want to come SEO your YouTube, so we're going to get more about that. There's some plans you have to put into place to really nudge people to make this a habit. But I will say, once it becomes a habit, people start to get like they just like get used to it, but then they miss it. Like when people go on vacation, sometimes people just sign in while they're on. I'm like, aren't you on vacation? Aren't you like traveling somewhere? And they're just like, I just need 15 minutes. Tell me what's everybody happening. And that's when you know that you started to build this kind of community where people love coming into these spaces. Is Heartbeat solid? Wait, I gotta read this. Is Heartbeat solid enough for? Oh, I missed it. For the membership piece of things. Kathy, what do you mean by the membership piece of things?
So I was just typing the second part of my question, which is, do you run your payments, in other words, for the group chats and saying that things are happening? In other words, the thing I don't see GoBrunch having is that community chat part of it, or, hey, we're having this workshop, jump over here, and or do you run your payment so that they become a member through Heartbeat or one of those type of systems, and then you give them access to over here? Because GoBrunch doesn't yet, to my understanding, have the payment system or the membership things. That's not their sauce. That's not their special sauce.
Yeah, I will admit our system is a little clunky right now, because we use a system called Simplero to run our emails and our courses and our payments. And then they just get an email. They get an email onboarding system that invites them over to GoBrunch. And then we've just linked up GoBrunch both in Simplero and Heartbeat. We love Heartbeat, but honestly, Simplero, for me, Simplero is moving into more of they're developing us like a circle or Heartbeat function in there. And so I'll probably just use GoBrunch and Simplero. I don't find it, other than, like I said, the first barrier where people jump in, it's the rules of the rules of being in the room. People are used to Zoom. People are used to being invited to speak. People are used to having restrictions. Part of it is an unlearning coming in there. Once we kind of get through that unlearning, we haven't had issues with people getting kind of like lost about where they go.
Because I've been running an ADHD co-working body doubling space using Zoom, and the organization we're working with is using something else that they're trying to move towards, and it's taking forever. And I'm like, I'm going to launch something over here because this is just taking too long. But I love what you're doing. And I was wondering about, because I got a lifetime deal for Heartbeat. So I have that and I was wondering, that might be an easy way to do payments in, and then they get access to this community.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that would work, even if I don't have your other something like that, one of those membership things, and then over here. Yeah.
Yeah. Allie uses Heartbeat for the community payments and then linked to GoBrunch. So she's doing that already as well. Yeah, we had already set up on Simplero before we got Heartbeat. We were on Circle when we first launched. And so it was just, we just added in Heartbeat. We're actually just starting to really use Heartbeat now. We've had it for a while, is because we were so in GoBrunch, but now as we're growing and we have different time zones, Heartbeat is becoming a little bit more needed, definitely.
You need some of that asynchronous time. This is all synchronous, but you need the asynchronous for people to be able to communicate and you to be able to communicate over different time zones. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like I said, like sometimes we just have a delicious talk happening in the workrooms, and I want to carry that on, right? So capturing it, one of the things I'm going to get better at doing is kind of recording little blips of it and bringing it into Heartbeat. So it is like if you missed it, here's this juicy conversation we started having. We'd love to keep it going, and then using Heartbeat to keep building on it, and then coming back and adding it. Again, I like Heartbeat also for just more of a long term, kind of like where we come back to topics and kind of say, okay, here's where we were a couple months ago. Now you've been putting this into practice. And I think it's really, you said bodybuilding, right? Is that what you said?
Body doubling, which is
body doubling,
which I call co-working because body doubling is such a weird term, but yeah.
I know.
Well, and I've got a couple of members.
The body.
Well, some of them are dealing with abuse issues. So in that community, it's like, that's just a weird term. So I'm trying to shift to virtual co-working. But yeah, what I like about the term body doubling, and I'm going to underscore you here, is that when people come together to work together in a room, whether it's silent or talking, it really is an anchoring and an energizing. And the doubling part of it is where body doubling, that term, works, because you get exponentially more done when you're in a small group of people who are doing some of the same stuff. Although in our community, we have people who are washing dishes and making sure they get their beds made or whatever. And we also have people who are doing their work. And it's a really cool, I think I can see the potential for GoBrunch to be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I clean. My husband's always like, wow, what happened here? I'm like, oh, we had a really good talk. The co-working room was really busy. And he's like, you clean the entire top of the house. I'm like, oh yes, perfect for my ADHD brain. We had a great conversation. I cleaned the house. We have a joke because I found this really great vacuum. You don't come into the co-working room necessarily to save money. We're horrible at AppSumo. We're horrible at domain names. And then this vacuum cleaner that now I think 7 people have, where I was like, look at this thing. Why does it suck so good? It sucks so well. And I'm like, just one sec, turning off my mic, got a vacuum. And like, it's so funny, like where we are sharing these experiences and kind of growing there. You asked how the domain. We just say whatever happens in the domains. We don't talk about AppSumo, but it is funny. We also help each other. So people come in, should I buy this? No, you don't need it. Here's what you can, and so we have a lot of that kind of stuff. The other advantage that we have is people will be working on something, and Allie will be like, can you take a look at my sales page? And we're like, absolutely. Everybody in the room's just like, absolutely, let's do this. And you get that real-time feedback. Somebody asked me how I'm marketing. Search engine optimization is one of my biggest. I last night, if you're addicted to AppSumo as I am, go get Site Guru. It's incredible, especially for folks with ADHD. You will find that it is, I think the guy who built it is definitely neurodivergent. They send you these emails, they send you these, anyways, we go in and have SEO parties now with Site Guru in these rooms. Search engine optimization. So I'm definitely going after, Kathy and I will start competing for body doubling and co-working in the Google, and that's okay. Definitely, I do social media as well a little bit. I'm not a big I like social media for being social. I don't like being social media for marketing. Pinterest is something we have a Pinterest expert coming in a couple weeks and doing presentations for us on how to use Pinterest for both services and products. What else do I do? Email marketing, of course. And we are going to be running some ads for the events. Oh, so that's the other thing, is we're doing these events, these speaker series. That's a great way to market. We have an affiliate program, so our members can earn up to $625 on a yearly. So it's like, bring a friend with you, come co-work. People can, a podcast, Alice. Oh, thank you. Alice is also one of the members. I didn't see you popped in here. Alice uses GoBrunch as well. Alice and I are actually running the events together. So those are going to be generation where people come in and they experience GoBrunch. And then it's like, wait, how do I get more of this goodness? No problem. Here you go. We'll actually set up a Join the Catalyst. We'll use Join the Catalyst branding. We can embed things. So while people are watching the presentation, they can click on buttons. People like to click on buttons. And then they can, experience like, what is the catalyst? Why should I join? So we can use some of that, to do it. I have so many ideas when it comes to using GoBrunch for your business. We'll have to schedule another one, Richard, where people just come in and ask me how they can build things in GoBrunch, because I'm happy to help you do that.
Sure. Okay. That was amazing, Marissa.
Yeah.
I think we were able to provide a very interesting overview of the possibilities, and I know many of you are wondering, how can I use this? How can I customize the room? And of course, feel free to email me if you want to create, to schedule a session. But also, we do have like a YouTube channel with a lot of tutorials. You will see they are very easy, and one of the reasons they are easy is because we are targeting students as well. We do have many young students using GoBrunch for casual meetings. And we did create a small metaverse for them. It's very interesting because I'll say these fearing of missing out is exactly what happens there. And people are coming back to see what is happening here. And yeah, we are learning a lot, either from the corporate market, from small businesses, and even from the students. It's been very interesting. Let me see if final questions here before we wrap up here. Do you have any corporate America clients using GoBrunch?
We do.
I don't think we have.
You're asking. We do have a team. So we do have a team that has joined, and they're a major company in North America. So they have 4 of their employees who've actually joined in ours, and they then are taking GoBrunch now and moving it in for their whole entire company. So they came in and kind of tested it out with us and learned the model. So I can see it being I can see it going in that direction as people see it, especially when you think about having like an anytime virtual meeting room. A lot of corporations are using things like Google Meet or Teams, Microsoft Teams, but it's still missing. Like I know my husband, they use Microsoft Teams, but he loves using these rooms. Sometimes he just pops into one of mine and brings in, because they can have a little bit more of a feel. It's just a different environment. Going into some of those corporate tools, even Zoom, it just feels like people don't contribute or don't connect, I find, whereas this becomes this non-standard. Like it matters, right? It matters to take conversations out of these corporate tools and start to build them elsewhere.
Yep, definitely. Okay, yeah. Well, guys, I just want to thank you very much for, I think, it was an amazing session. A lot of comments, a lot of people, more people than I was imagining. And Marissa, thank you very much for sharing everything with them. Yes, we do have 2 upcoming sessions. In the same link of the calendar, you will find, you can just click on it. Let me just see if I find here, I'll just space for you. But you will be able to, oh, here it is. You'll be able to reschedule if you couldn't attend, or if you want just to review anything. Of course, we're recording, but as Marissa says, everything asynchronous. Watching recording is something a little bit boring, and I hope that you can really come over in the next sessions, and then we can, answer your questions directly and interact with you.
The next time we do this,
again, guys.
The next time we do that, I forgot to show. The next time we do this, I will share you how we use Miro in GoBrunch. GoBrunch got us hooked on Miro, and I'll show you how we integrate Miro into GoBrunch as well. We could maybe we're sure we have to have like a feature. We'll do a feature session. So it's like we'll go through one thing in GoBrunch, and then people can ask questions about that one thing. So as we build the different features, people will get to see how they can use them.
Yeah, Kathy, we do have one more at December 3rd. You can check in this link, and it will be a Saturday. And yeah, hope you all can participate. I really appreciate all of you. Many familiar faces here. I really appreciate. I usually speak the name of all of you. I'll do this as a bye for you guys. Thank you very much, Marlita, Dr. Nelly. Really nice seeing you here. Ellie, thank you very much. Michael, Leslie, Yvonne, Gary, Wilfred, Deborah, Kathy, Ralph, Jurix, Alice, Sarah, Patrick, Heather, Sharon, Renato, Suzanne, and Deepika. Really nice seeing each one of you And thank you very much. Have an amazing day or end of the day. Marissa, again, thank you very much for this for this awesome session.
Yeah, I'm happy. This is fun.
Okay. Cool, guys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Ciao. Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you. Great information.